Hello everyone, this is the 5th tutorial on how to make a basic ship, and today we are going to be adding a seat for ship. But first, let's fix something that we did on the last tutorial. So if you recall correctly, we added the dynamic fluid detector, and even though I mentioned that the ship has a fluid volume, it didn't work. The reason why, I don't know why, but the reason why is that you need to add a sector detector. If you add this, then it will work. So let's try this. Let's rebuild. Oh yeah, let's first save, rebuild, grab our asset, bring to our project, replace, rebuild. I was doing some other stuff here. Rebuild, start the game, and here we are. So let's spawn our ship and head here. Let me get a better position. Is this good? No, little bit. Here, I think. Yes. So now, as you can see, our box gets pulled and everything is working. So yeah, for some reason you had to add the sector detector. So now let's head to the actual tutorial. Okay, so having fixed the issue, let's start adding our seat to the ship. But first you need to understand how are we going to do this. So, well, I need to get a little technical, so here's a drawing. Imagine that this is our ship. If you want our player to be seated on the ship or attached to it, we need to add something that is called a player attach point. A player attach point is just that, it just attaches the player to a point, and that point needs to be parent to a rigid body, so when this rigid body moves, the player moves and everything works correctly. The thing is, this player attach point just attaches. It doesn't handle interaction or anything else. So to do this, we need to also add a interact zone. Basically what this does is, when the player is inside the interact zone, a prompt appears for it to sit, or well, interact, and then we can handle the interact events. And well, again, the interact zone is a generic thing. It isn't made for the player touch point, which means we need to add custom code. Basically, we are going to be creating a script. Let's call this basic ship console, which will grab the onPressInteract, which comes from interact zone, and then we will call attach player on our player attach point. So basically, what will happen is the player will enter, it will press the button, onPressInteract will be called, then we call attach player, which makes player attach point attach our player to our ship. So let's begin. Go to our project and let's add a new file. A C# script. As I said, let's call this basic ship console. Let's make this public. Need to call Unity Engine and make this a mono behavior. Alright. So first, as I said, we need to interact with interact zone and player touch point. So let's add those as fields. So we have player touch point. Let's call this just touch point, and public interact zone. Interact zone. Alright. We are going to use the fact that with Unity we can just drag these components here, so we don't need to actually get them with the get component on start or awake. So, well, first let's create our awake method, and here we need to get interact zone and get this event on press interact. So just do this, and let's rename this to something better, like on player interact. Okay, so what do we want to do when player interacts with our interact zone? Well, we need to go to player attach and call attach player. Let's see if this is what we want, and yeah, just attach player. In theory, this code is enough to work, but as you can see, this does not allow our player to detach from our ship. So we need to get a little bit more fancy. So what are we going to do? First, we need to add a update method. So public void update. Alright. And we need to check that the player is attached. To do this, we can assume that first the player isn't attached. So we can, I don't know, create a boolean here and call it is player attached. We know that by default it isn't, so when player attaches, player is attached, equal true. Alright. And basically, if the player is attached, we want to, if the player presses a button, we don't know what button, we can decide, the player will detach. There's also another thing. As you can see from our image, our player will be inside the interact zone when attached. So we need to deactivate the interact zone to, well, the player not be able to reattach themselves. So yeah, inside play interact, we also need to call play interact. Let me remember what it is. Enable interaction. I mean, yes, disable interaction. That's the one. So when they are attached, they can't interact with the interact zone, which is what we want. Alright, so if player is attached. Well, if player is attached, we want to then check if the player has pressed a button. So what we need to do, it is author input dot get newly released. Oops, is newly released. Then we do input library, and here we can select the button. Of course, these are using the games button, so we can use, for example, cancel, and then we have input mode. Input mode basically means, well, what input mode we are in. For example, let's open this input mode. Here we have none, so no input mode. The menu, when you are in the menu, keyboard input, when you are roasting a marshmallow, when you are rebinding, when you are the regular character, when you are inside a dialogue, when you are using the landing cam, the map, the mothership, the my remote cam, and when you're patching your suit, select kind, and whatever. So, well, in your case, we should, in theory, use the ship cockpit because it is the closest one to what we want. But if you just set this, when we enter, when the player attach, they won't be able to actually get off this because we are setting the input. We are only reading if they are in this input mode. And well, here in our code, we aren't changing the input mode to be ship cockpit. So we need to go here, go input mode, input, change input mode, ship cockpit, and yeah, close this. And now, yeah, now if the player is attached and if they press the cancel button, this part will run. And well, this is where we want to detach the player, enable the interact zone, set this boolean to false, and change the input mode back to the one it was before. So yeah, we could add all this here, but I think it is better to create a new method called onPlayer. Yeah, we can onPlayer exit. If you call this onPlayer exit, we can call this onPlayer enter actually. And yeah, I think this makes better sense. Okay, so onPlayer enter, we are attaching, disabling, setting this boolean to true, and changing the input mode to ship cockpit. So inside onPlayer exit, we want to detach the player, we want to reset interaction and enable interaction. We don't know for reasons. The player is attached, nope. And we want to restore previous inputs. Yeah, that's more like it. So when we go here, we want to do all this. Well, because this is an if inside an if, we can just do remove this outer if and do if player is attached and this button is pressed, is newly released, player exit. Alright, so let me just fix this indentation. And well, in theory, this code is already good to go. So first, compile this. And now I'm going to teach you how to add our DLL to Unity. Because, well, we just create a script and we want to attach this script to our ship. So, again, after you have compiled it, go to the mod manager, go here, show in Explorer, and well, we are back to our folder with our mod. So, select our DLL, I don't know, we'll do Ctrl C or something. Oops. Here, go back to the folder to our project, inside the unit, assets, and here we can add a new folder called, I don't know, basic ship scripts. And here we can add our DLL. Now, if you head back to unit, it will reload and, well, tell us this error. Basic ship cannot be loaded due to errors. And basically, it is trying to load our mod DLL, but we don't have the game here. We only have empty scripts and whatsoever. So basically, we need to go to our folder here. If you open it, we can even see our script here, but we can't actually use it. So what we need to do is select the basic ship, jigsaw puzzle, go here, and disable auto reference and validate reference. Apply. Basically what this does is, as you can see, it has unloaded our assembly. So basically it will no longer try to load this DLL and will allow us to actually drag this and drop it here. So yeah, now we finally have our custom script in our ship. Okay, so let's drag this to the end so it is less confusing. Alright, so our basic ship console. Again, we need a player attached and an interact zone. So let's add them. Create a new game object. Let's call this seat. And we need to add the player attach point. As you can see, it already auto generates this capsule, which will be where our player will be on our ship. So we can move it here, so our player is right on top of our ship. As you can see, we have some settings: lock player turning, make it match the rotation, and center the camera. We can leave these as they are. And we need to add the interact zone. Well, the interact zone alone doesn't do much because we need a collider for it. So let's add a new collider. We can make it a box collider, can be any type of collider, and we need to make it a trigger. So let me just place this here, and let's add this collider to make it, to make it a little bigger. So now we have our new components. We need to get them to our ship. So now, because all of them are inside this seat object, we can go here to our basic ship console and just drag seat here and here. Alright, well, now in theory it is all said and done. So let's build the asset bundle, go to our streaming assets folder, select the bundles, drag them to our project, replace, rebuild. You can go to the game and well, as you can see, we actually can't interact with the box. This is because, as you can see, the color is not in the correct layer mask. So basically, we need to return to our project here. On seed, we need to change the layer to the basic effect volume. Alright, so rebuild, move, replace, rebuild, and play. So yeah, we are back here. We can spawn our ship and E. If we press E, here we are. We can press Q and we are out of the ship. You can even, no, yeah, we can open the map actually. Yeah, this is how you add a C to the ship. You might notice that our E is just an E. There's no fancy prompt like on the ship, like the buckle up or something. Here's how you add them. Go to the text ID and choose the correct one. But for the ship, it is the ship buckle up prompt. So yeah, with this, now we build our asset. Go to the files, drag them to our project, replace, rebuild, and we can play the game now. Now we finally have a prompt. Mine is in Portuguese, but yours should be in your native language. So yeah, this was this tutorial. This is how you add a player touch point and interact zone, and how to make them both work as one. On the next tutorial, we are going to be seeing how to add thrusters, in quotation marks, how to make this box move, how to handle inputs, and other cool stuff. So until next time, see ya!